Hello, I'm Ian Scales, you're watching TelecomTV, and I'm here at the Internet of Healthcare event where I'm going to be talking to Dr. Joe McGilligan, who is an LGA, that's Local Government Authority, Health and Wellbeing Champion. Joe, welcome to TelecomTV and thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
That's okay. Tell me a little bit about your background. How did you come into this area and what's your interest?
I'm a full-time GP and I was involved in commissioning for many years. I was the chairman of the local clinical commission group, and then I became the co-chair of the Health and Wellbeing Board for Surrey, which is how I became the Health and Wellbeing Champion. Because I believe in prevention and doing things properly to prevent people getting ill rather than waiting until they're ill and then trying to fix them. We can use technology to do that, and actually use the technology that we have available already to prevent people ending up in hospital and getting ill. And it's a very simple thing to do.
So yours is a very pragmatic approach, and it says, well, we have technologies where we just need to apply them properly?
Absolutely. The NHS has always been slow at absorbing technology because it's always worried about who's going to pay for it. But actually, patients are driving this now for us. They all come in with their Fitbits, they've all come in with their Google searches, they all come in with their monitoring devices themselves. And actually what we should be doing is helping them to interpret those aspects of their health and actually make them be more proactive in preventing themselves getting ill.
Yes. Do you think the normal attitude of doctors, or at least the established attitude, is that, oh, they read all this different information on the internet and they get the wrong idea? Have we got to turn that around?
Yeah, we've got to empower patients, and as doctors we've got to get off our pedestals, I think, to actually be there as a patient's advocate and actually help interpret what they're reading and help make decisions for them. I had a patient the other day who read about statins, and one paper said they're terrible, the other paper said they're good, and he wanted my opinion because he trusts me to actually help him make the right decision. Yeah. Which is, I said to stay on the statins because they, on balance, would improve his healthcare.
Exactly. Given that, what is the difference between IoT and the existing medical technology that you have? I'm wondering, is there a real difference between the two?
Yeah, at the moment our technology is all based in the practice and we don't share it across the health system, and what we should be doing is actually getting patients to record all their own information and use all the technology that's out there to to keep themselves healthy, and only use hospitals. I always say every patient's got a bed and it's at home. We don't need hospitals for beds, and what we should be doing is a hospital should be used just for operations where it needs to be clean and sterile, and then as soon as they're well enough is then get them home and care for them in their own homes.
Because of course there's a lot of evidence that you get more germs if you stay in the hospital.
Absolutely, but you get better at home because you know where the toilet is. Yes. And you know where your kitchen is, and you don't actually have to ask permission to use them. Yes. And you don't become institutionalised at home.
And you're just in a much better frame of mind and all the rest of it because it's your own surroundings. And so we're talking about information really, aren't we? I mean, what I got from your answer was that what happened before was the machine was a very centralised thing which did whatever it did, an X-ray or what we're talking about now are machines which actually return data and put things on a loop.
Exactly, so you can actually predict who's going to become unwell by actually just analysing their data, and that's available already. Yes. But we're just not using it, and patients should be empowered to use it. So, for example, if their peak flow if they're asthmatic, the peak flow starts dropping, they should be told they should be increasing their inhalers, and that rather than waiting until they get really wheezy and then see the doctor. It'll make doctors more and more redundant from that point of view, but actually it empowers patients to be much better informed and self-caring. Yes.
Because in your experience that must be a real problem where people are hesitant to come to you or come to you all the time about those little things.
No, that's true. You've got the anxious well, but who could be reassured by looking at their own data and saying, actually, I'm okay. Yeah. But then what we're trying to do is catch the patients who don't do that, who are the stoic ones who will stay at home until the bitter end, who don't want to test us. But that information can come into our systems, and actually we can monitor them, and the alert would come up immediately to say this patient is starting to struggle, and then we can intervene before it becomes a problem.
So, are we really talking about, to a certain extent, I suppose, virtualising the hospital in a way, or at least spinning bits from it, outsourcing bits of it.
Well, absolutely. You can. Most things can be digitalised now. You know, I've got a GP practice in my area that has got an MRI scanner in its car park, which is used by the vet. And we should be using it for humans, because the technology is there. And once the scan's been taken, it can be read by anyone, any part of the world. Same for things like moles. You can take a digital photo of a mole and send it to somebody. Rather than the patient having to travel to a hospital, it can be done remotely. And that's going to be the future of healthcare, is you do a remote, you do the scan, you can do the tests, you can do near patient testing. You can actually do that and then ask the expert remotely to give an opinion.
Yes.
And the patient then doesn't actually have to travel to an institution. But that's the future.
It seems so obvious, but what are the roadblocks? I'm presuming that it's not going to be plain sailing to get these changes through.
Yeah, the biggest blocks are the funding and because the funding will have to come out of the institutions into delivery of the near patient testing, and unfortunately the political will isn't there for that, because big institutions are very powerful and want to keep their
Yes.
and it's sort of politically unpalatable for that to happen, because people are really wedded to bricks and mortar.
Yes. I mean, there's a strange echo too. Do you remember Care in the Community, which was a few years ago, and I think there's still a hangover from that, where people expect that it's just a way of cutting costs.
Yeah.
Do you think we've got to overcome that again?
I think what we need to be is honest about how much it costs to deliver healthcare, and if you're honest with the public, they would be willing to put their hands in their pockets to pay for more healthcare. And for me, I say they're doing it already. They're already buying their Fitbits. They're already buying their own blood pressure monitors and things like that.
Yes.
And so it's about them being empowered to look after themselves.
That's great. Well, look, Joe, that's really, really, really interesting. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
For your time.
Okay, thank you.